Hello guys, Elora White here, and today we're doing a deep dive into the V Tarot. This is deck by Los Scarbillo. It has 78 cards with a guidebook. It retails for $28.95 and it comes in multiple languages. So, printed in China, good quality, sturdy box. Let's have a look. Now, because it is double glazing and it's glossy on both sides, it has a reflection that we're going to try and work around. So the box, we try and turn this off and see if it's better. Very sturdy box. I mean, this image was what made me, Memento Mori, purchase this deck. Now, there is a curious thing if you open it. So, it's like the shadow and the light. Although I feel like this deck is already plenty shadow. I don't know if it needed to be more, but it is. And this gorgeous girl as well. So I assume that the idea here is that the cards bring you both perspectives. It's a very thick cardstock. It snaps back. I would say it will last you a long time. There are two cards inside. One is like promotion commercial and the other one is empty. The back, it's a upside down cross, Antichrist sign with blood. Not my favorite. Specifically, this is one big downside for me about this deck is the reversed cross. I'm not a religious person, however, this doesn't sit completely right with me. I feel like it didn't have to go this way, and it's very gothic and dark. Didn't need to be like that. My personal opinion, of course. Then we have the book. We have English, we have Italian, we have Spanish and Portuguese. The book is not actually all that bad. This is just about Tarot V. Tarot in the shadow of the vampire. Shadow work dancing in the dark. Till you made then conscious it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Gustav Jung. Understanding Tarot, the structure of the deck. Bloodlines and suits. The bloodline of passion is represented by the cups. The bloodline of riches is represented by the suit of pentacles. The bloodline of vitality is represented by the suit of wands. The bloodline of war is represented by the suit of swords. The tarot card. The pages are represented by vampire hunters, the army of the undead. They tread carefully on the boundary of the shadows, learn all they can of their nemesis and pursue them cautiously but curiously. The knights are vampire warriors, the newly made undead. They desire to test their new powers and tend to act on their freshly heightened instincts. The queens are the mistresses of the night, experts in the arts of influence and intrigue. They represent the personal mastery of the bloodline's gifts. The kings are the lords of darkness, rulers of their domain. They're rulers. They display an outer mastery of the bloodline and are capable leaders. While the court cards appears as men and women, they can refer to people of any gender. The important thing to keep in mind are the qualities of characters exhibit on each card. An older man exploring a new subject that is unfamiliar to him may turn up in the reading as one of the youthful pages. A young woman who has taken a leadership role in which she will need to command others may find herself as a king in the spread, just as vampires are metaphorical, so are the genders. Then we have performing tarot reading, begin with the question, then we have a spread, a nocturnal hunt. Predator yourself, prey. Preternatural gifts, the defenses of your objective, and strike. Interpretations and meanings, lore, divination, shadow dance, reversed, and keywords. That's what we get. So, shall we dive into it? These are the backs, as you can see. I'm a big fan of Jesus and what he does as a cool human being, Sananda, Christ, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him. I think it was amazing to do what he did in the times that he did, and to attempt to show to the people who they are and who they truly are and who they can be. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a religious person, but I think, today we have Eckhart Tolle, we have Deepak Chopra, we have all kinds of cool guys and writers, and, they're all loved and supported. And then Jesus, Lord Sananda, whatever the name is, Piece of Prince, he was alone. He was the waymaker in his own time, and he paid the price, but he knew what he was going for. So I think it was huge bravery on his side to choose that path, and maybe that is the reason why this bothers me. I clearly understand that there is dark and there is light, and everything in this world is known as opposite sides to one another. We need contrast in order to learn things, in order to discover things, but I don't know. I feel like you can be dark without going after the light. Like, they actually complement each other. So I think the way sometimes we represent dark and light in our world is not exactly true. It's incorrect, and people end up fearing darkness. But the darkness, the black matter, is where we all came from and what holds everything, the stars, the planets. The original thing is black, is dark. So this bugs me, but it's my personal opinion, and let's have a look. So we have the Fool. How are the colors? How is the light, guys? Do I need to turn this on to make it a bit? No, I don't think it really makes a difference. Let's have a look the way it is. The Magician, all is clear, he's all powerful. We have the High Priestess, and she's holding something. Let's have a look. What is it that she's holding? High Priestess. In the quiet and stillness of the night, you will hear and you will understand. The blood is not merely food. It is all the memories, hopes, and fears of one life distilled down into a rich and delicate concoction. Shut out the old unwanted sermons of others and open yourself to what you hear and feel within. Divination. Open the inner eye and trust in your intuition. Signs and portents around you reveal the truth. Take the middle road between two extremes. Shadow dance. You have permission to be mystical. The shadow makes us roll our eyes as those who trust the inner gift and abilities. Tune into the cosmos. Reverse. Fear can blind you to the truth. Your mind may be playing tricks on you. Keywords: intuition, passivity, gnosis. So it doesn't really say what is it that she's holding. Obviously, supposedly, vessel with blood. Make sure she's never hungry. We have the collapsed two columns here. And it does feel like she's guarding something. The Empress. Is it easier this way? Possibly. The colors don't really come on this camera the way they are. It's quite green. Here it looks a bit blue. Can't figure out how to fix the lighting, but let's just go with it. She reminds me of the actress that played Suki in the, what was that, vampire TV series? True Blood. Then we have the Emperor. There's a full cup next to him. We have the Hierophant. It'd be interesting to see what they have to say about the Hierophant here. The wisdom of the past may serve you in the present moment. Your immortal side gifted you with their blood. Your immortal sire, gifted you with their blood, initiating you into our tradition and passing an ancient spark over to your keeping. Heed their words, follow their guidance, join their choir of the faithful, and you will earn the keys to paradise. The benefits of education, divination, a conservative approach may be warranted. Have faith in traditions and in the tried and true method. Seek out mentors and teachers who will help you develop your talents. You have permission to be conventional. This shadow can play upon people's fears of tradition or organized religion and equate those things with the hatreds and harshness of the most jealous followers. Playing by the rules is not weakness. Reversed. Out with the old and in with the new. Reject others' perceptions and expectations of you and forge your own path. Keywords: orthodoxy, education, faith. Okay, that's the explanation. Basically are pretty much normal except for the first part where they actually talk about what happened in the card. The lovers. The lovers in this card remind me a little bit of the lovers from the Dreamkeeper Tarot, which has nothing to do with has nothing to do with vampires, but it's the way they sort of stretch for one another. And then there is as well that sort of links to that, which I feel is similar. Sorry for my rambling. It's temperance. Where is temperance? Don't tell me it's all the way at the back, which is very possible. As well, kind of similar vibe. So you have the angel behind them. The life eternal should not be spent totally alone. In the shadows we shall encounter those who contain our missing pieces. We must be selective to whom we give our trust, but when you find the one who makes your blood quicken at their touch, lose yourself in their embrace. So they're trying to figure out whether they're right for one another. A decision must be made between two divergent paths. Choose to listen to your heart and let it take you to places where you've never been. In unity, two halves create something new. Shadow dance. We may have permission to be loved and to feel worthy of love. This shadow can often cause us to project our own fears onto the people who love us and to imagine hostile intent. Embrace both your inner masculine and feminine qualities. I would say follow your own path a bit further and keep your own counsel. Let your head rule your heart. Choice, partnership, romance. Pretty standard. The Chariot. This Strength card is quite amazing. Look at this tiny little child girl, almost illuminating light, holding a bunch of garlic, and that massive vampire just flying frozen in the air, unable to do anything. This is, for me, this is such a beautiful card because it shows how little effort does she need to put into casting the dark away. She doesn't even look scared. How easy it is for the light to illuminate the darkness, and how they at the same time can coexist in the same space. I think this is one of my favorite Strength cards. Let's have a look what it has to say. Some say it's garlic purifying powers that make it anathema to our kind. This is especially true when it is wielded by one who has mastered their own fears. Such a person shines with unstoppable inner light. And it's true, she is shining with unstoppable inner light. Self-control and inner mastery give you the power to defeat the inner saboteur. Be strong and resolute, stand your ground in the face of conflict. Hold yourself to a high standard, and iron resolve will allow you to tame the beast. You have permission to erect strong boundaries. This shadow can make you resent the boundaries of others. Imagine they're a judgment against us. Is up on the reins, all regular stuff. But this card is amazing. The way he pictured it is something brilliant, I think. The Hermit. I think if I'm gonna read, I'm just gonna read the card description. At times, the elders of our kind will leave behind the weakness of their humanity and the political games vampires so delight in. They make their way into the wilderness and seek wisdom in the shadows of the deep caverns of the world. The young will seek them out for answers only they can provide. So obviously this is the elder that has moved away from the world and into the depths of the caves, and someone is coming to ask for their wisdom. And this for me could be actually looks a lot more like a Hierophant card, because here the Hierophant is this dude, which I would say looks more like an emperor. Because if we wouldn't have this here, I would have no idea that this is a Hierophant. But then here I would probably think that he could be one. Because in the traditional Hierophant we always have people kneeling down. Again, this is not, although it uses the traditional meanings, it is not a traditional imagery. You won't find the drawings to be mimicking the traditional Rider-Waite's. The wheel. Fate is a cruel mistress, dwelling at the center of the wheel of life, death and rebirth. Though she favors none of her children more than the others, her greatest gift is opportunity. She opens doorways of possibility for the quick and the capable to leap through in the moments before they close again. So someone get eaten and someone passed by. I assume I don't see any doors here. And their fates. So I would actually call that card fates, like they did in, because there are 3 of them, right? The fates, and that's what we have here. 3 of them. And the other case where we have that kind of the fates. And I love that they did it this way. Sorry. So this could as well be called the fates instead of Wheel of Fortune. Because I don't see any fortune there, to be honest. Fates would be the best name to title the best way to title the card. Then we have here 11, Justice. I'm not sure what's really happening. They were trying to obviously fight against him and they failed. Let's read. Our kind does not submit to the petty laws of mortals. We live by a simpler sacred code, cause and effect, action and reaction, predator and prey. In the pursuit of your desires, do not waver. Hesitation is a waste of energy. Above all else, be true to your own nature. And then we have the usual kind of balance, logic, condor. So obviously he stayed true to his nature and prevailed. Stay true to yourself. Truth always wins, although we all do have different perception of truth and there is no such thing as the truth while we are in the physical realm of polarities. This is the Hangman, very obvious. Death. Longer our lives and great our powers, but even the illustrious vampire must fear the reaper who seeks us out. Fortunately, ours is a life surrounded by death. From our mortal loved ones who fall by the wayside to the countless lives we drink, we are surrounded by a multitude of bittersweet partings. So even the immortals die one day. Transformation, transition. We have temperance here, sitting in a fountain or the puddle of something. The hunt requires incredible patience and self-control. A savage beast, flailing in its aggression, will scare off its prey. Start your quarry with coolness of mind and a light tread until the moment when you must strike. So he's obviously looking down at the prey, and the temperance here is being able to keep your temper down. Patience and self-control, slightly different from balance, alchemy, reverse. So what is the alchemy here is that he's thirsty and hungry, yet he's keeping himself under control, I believe. The devil. So, fierce as we may be, there are other dark and dangerous creatures that walk in the night, where we are noble predators. Demons seek twisted deals to claim the souls of unwary. Their subtle poisons eat away at their victims until nothing is left but an empty husk. You have to appreciate their enthusiasm for their work. Addiction, deviousness, chains are broken. Okay, this is also a bit slightly different than the original demon card, the devil card. I don't see any, or someone's hanging up there. But I don't see anyone being able to just run away. It feels like being caught by this guy is literally fatal. And then we have 16, the Tower. The romantic novels are true. We once ruled our kingdoms from majestic castles that proclaimed our power to the far corners of the land. It was this arrogance that brought the hunters down upon us. Burned out of our ancestral homes, we have had to find what safety we can in these shadows. So obviously this is their castles being burned. I believe those are the hunters. And then we have the star. And some creepy dude looking out of the window. The starry sky is beautiful, however. Let's see what they have to say about the star. We're not going to read for each card because otherwise it's going to be endless. We are like those bright jewels in the heavens, lonely in the darkness but burning with vitality, beauty and grace that will echo through the millennia. We have left behind the humdrum, mortal, grinding existence to take wing and fly beneath the stars. Okay. So, divination. This foretells a time of hope and healing, restoring and rejuvenating you. Open yourself to divine grace, believe in your dreams, and you will be uplifted. This is your time. Reversed. Inverted, this card suggests that the hope you feel might be false. Take a more conventional, practical approach and make choices based on what you are certain of rather than you wish for. Joy, renewal, peace. Okay, I understand that this is a vampire deck, but I mean, where do we see here renewal, joy and peace? So, for me, personally, when the deck is dark like this and the images are dark as these ones, I would not dare to use this deck in a reading whereby I have to tell a person rejoice and heal and rejuvenate, because come on. So for me this would be personally, and specifically for shadow work. The moon, obviously she's some sort of werewolf or something. There are many legends of the powers of the ferocious and terrible vampire. The dark gifts are not the same for all of us. Who knows what abilities you will manifest in time, but greatest still are the fearful tales of the humans whisper of us in the night. Use this to your own advantage. The sun is an interesting card. She's burning. The judgment. We're the ones who will not sleep. Our souls do not wait for some silly end times to be given permission to arise and answer the pull of destiny. Let the mortals wait in their boxes in the shadows of their crumbling cathedrals. We have too much living to do. You have found a path that calls to your heart. Take the steps to evolve beyond your old limitations. You have waited long enough to shed your cocoon and let the world see you, your true self. Can indicate a decision will be made in your favor. Okay, what is the reverse? We inverted. The time is not yet ripe for you to heed the call, or possibly the decision made to not begin the past just yet. Delays in decisions made an opportunity to you. And the world. Okay, then we're moving on to the Suit of Cups. I will only read the cards that are kind of hard to understand. Two of Cups are clear, although they don't look like lovers, they just look like partners in crime to me. And this one looks like Matthew McConaughey a little bit from the far. Number 3, supposed to be joy and celebration. Can't really feel the joy and celebration here. Let's have a look at her face. She looks scared and she has 2 bites on her neck. So let's have a read about this card. What do they mean by this? When the dark gift enters your veins, so she obviously has just been bitten, your heightened senses will be awakened to the world as you have never experienced it before. So she's just finally hearing and seeing things that she could never see before. Take a moment to celebrate things as they are. See the best in people around you. Gratitude will lift your spirits. I'm not sure if she's grateful, to be honest, for that. Prioritizing appropriate and self-sufficiency can lead to too much austerity, which can even explode into overindulgence. Be careful of too much moderation. Reversed, feeling alone even in a crowded room, or that your circle doesn't see you. So if we wouldn't have this, I would never have guessed that this is 3 of Cups. I would probably think it's maybe 9 of Wands or something. 9 of Swords, sorry. 4 of Cups. The dude looks completely dozed out. There is no such thing as enough for our kind. Comfort is a plateau from which to sight our next quarry. So obviously he's not satisfied. He's already thinking about what's next. 5 of Cups. Walking in the cemetery with another of your own kind. There are some who hesitate to accept the new life gifted to them by their sire and mourn the joys they could have experienced had they retained their brief human lives full. So obviously, this is the sire that transformed this person, and she feels that she doesn't belong to her own kind, that she's been forced to become. And then we have the Six of Cups. Just a minute. I want to have a drink of water. Sorry. Okay, so this is the Six of Cups that is on the box that I really liked. Six of Cups. Children have always been a reminder to aging mortals that their time will soon draw to a close. For we who will remain eternally young, the trick is to stay young at heart. No one likes a bore. The joys of youth, longing for a simpler time, take a more childlike approach, keep things simple, or kindness to someone who is suffering. Oh man, I don't know. Focus first and foremost on yourself. Something unpleasant or challenging needs to be attended to. Again, if this card would not have Momentum Mori or the name on it, I would never guess that this is Six of Cups. So I do like the art, however, but would I recommend this deck to a beginner who just starting to learn? Absolutely not. Seven of Cups, and he's not looking at his cups, although he has 1, 2, 3, 4 behind him. Where are the other 3, you would ask? I have no idea. Maybe in front of him. More like you have 4 cups full, but you're looking elsewhere, is something like 5 of Cups, to be honest, but he seems happy, so let's see. 7 of Cups. When you're going to live forever, reinvention is a necessity. We have the ability to choose who we will be in the coming age. A world of different possibilities is laid before you and it is your difficult task to select from among them. Find a way to make your fantasy a reality. Again, I would never know that it's 7 of Cups if this would not be here. 8 of Cups is obviously she has lost a battle or something and is about to let go of the human version of herself. The dark change is particularly cruel for the faithful. They must strive to find a new road to the divine light that kindled their spirit. It's time to leave the old path you have pursued. Something fresh is calling to you. Make peace and leave behind that which no longer serves you. So obviously she has surrendered and is lost the battle and is ready to be transformed, I guess. And then we have the 9 of Cups. Maybe it's this person that is like preparing for a meal. 9 of Cups. Mortal tell tales of paradise filled with unending use and pleasure, which they find in that secret place tends to be unsettling but ultimately fulfilling. Yeah, she's obviously happy where she is. 10 of Cups, usually we have a happy family with a rainbow. It's the simple pleasures that give life a meaning. A drafty old manor house with a view of the moors, plenty of unsuspecting peasants, such a bliss. Stable contentment and their attainment of the lasting peace. Take time to enjoy the comforts of you have accumulated. Shadow dance. In the world obsessed with more, having enough seems like giving up. This shadow makes satisfaction seem like complacency, and worthwhile achievements feel small. Verse feeling lonely in a crowd and ill at ease with others. Again, I would never guess that this is a Ten of Cups. And this would be a Page of Cups, as we mentioned earlier, Vampire Hunter. And then we have the Knight of Cups, is the vampire warrior that is watching his hunter from above, I guess. Her hunter. Which is motionless. I guess like cats as well, vampires supposed to be still and quiet before they attack. And then we have Queen of Cups, is the lady in white. And she just drank from his hand and turned into one of the vampires, so maybe it's worthwhile looking. Despite the common wisdom, being beloved rather than feared has its advantages, especially when you consider ready food supply. An open-hearted soul who listens devotedly, make use of compassion and empathy with others. When people feel seen and heard, they will bare their hearts and souls to you. So basically, they're suggesting that although the imagery is completely far off from the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, in your reading, the meanings of the cards are, however, the same. And this is the King of Cups. And we have Ace of Pentacles. As soon as possible, be sure to establish a secure lair for yourself where you may rest from the hunt and hide away from the prying eyes. A firm beginning, a seed has been planted. Invest your energy and resources into things that will grow and allow to thrive. Good fortune will follow. So basically, all the meanings are just as the traditional meanings, except for the imagery. Okay? The Two of Pentacles and the sign of eternity here we have, I think. Pretty much, yes. Which doesn't look so well. Two of Pentacles says we are a midpoint between man and monster, and it's quite tricky at times to maintain that equilibrium. So it's that balancing of both, pretty much same meaning. So it's like they're trying to take a different take on the traditional deck, but again, Three of Pentacles would never come to my mind looking at that dude. Necromancy is a demanding art, dangerous to the extreme, but those who succeed become undisputed masters of life and death. It helps when the dead whisper their encouragement. You have honed your skills, it's time to prove yourself, collaborate with others who have complementary talents. Hard work pays off, delegate tasks to others so you can focus. So I would say, if you're a lover of the dark art and you know your meanings, you can use this deck as any other deck, ignoring the imagery on the cards. Because basically the meanings that they give to you are all the same. Four of Pentacles, a partnership between a mortal and a vampire, takes quite a bit of trust on their part and an immense restraint on ours. So he's a mortal and she's a vampire. Seek out stability and be careful with how you spend your resources of time, energy, and money. So she has to be careful of how much of his blood she drinks, because if she goes for too much, he will die. And yeah, build firm boundaries, but be careful not to cut yourself off from others entirely. So he doesn't want to cut her off from his blood supply, but she needs to make sure that he's got enough blood to last him, to keep him alive. So interesting take. Five of Pentacles. Not sure what's going on here. Let's have a look. It is unwise to make one's home in a churchyard. The faithful are so rarely accommodating to our kind. Prepare yourself for struggle and strife. This card is especially challenging when finances are an issue. So this is a graveyard, and someone is digging for someone's body. I'm not sure if I'm understanding it correctly. Six of Pentacles is a traditional thing. Giving the money, although we don't see who is there. Give freely and you will find your lackeys and henchmen are less likely to sharpen stakes by day. Okay, so giving master, Seven of Pentacles is the saints lie there in the cold graves waiting for a day of judgment to deliver eternal life. Perhaps that will pay off for them someday. So the waiting and the time. This dude has crazy face. A crossed eyes. Okay, Eight of Pentacles, how does that work? Becoming one of the truly great members of our kind takes years of polish. Oh, and ascot helps. Apply yourself fully to the task at hand, taking on the full burden of work. Hones your skills. Just traditional meanings, basically. So if you're a fan of vampires and dark art, and the nice, glossy, slippery feeling of the deck in your hands, and you just want to use, you're bored of the traditional imagery and you just want to see something funky, then I guess this deck is for you. For me, the big no-no is this, as I said. Maybe I can get over it, but pretty much you can use this deck and read the traditional meanings. There is nothing different. Nine of Pentacles. None of our great leaders ever took power by meekly waiting for it to be given to them. So basically they just took it. Trust in your vision and rely upon your independence. Your work and discipline have earned this moment. Now is the time to claim what is yours. Insist on your point of view. So basically go ahead and take what's yours. Ten of Pentacles is a vampire killer. The training of a vampire hunter is brutal and demanding, but the result is a powerful and deadly foe. They pass down centuries of knowledge and sacred artifacts to their members. Attainment of all you have worked for, a lasting legacy that will live on and benefit others. Stay grounded, prioritize security, and keep the big picture. So basically, it's from father to son. You have been a vampire hunter, and now I will be a vampire hunter. He looks kind of hot. But again, if I didn't have this, I would have no idea that it's the Ten of Pentacles. When you read the meaning, it makes sense. So basically, they've taken the original meanings and kind of stuffed them into the cards. And this is another page, a vampire hunter again. Do not underestimate the hunters. They're puny mortals, yes, but they're methodical and dedicated to our destruction. And then I believe while she's looking at the ground, the Knight of Pentacles is a vampire fighter, is looking at her from above. Let's have a look quickly. Fangs and claws are wonderful, but the secret to a successful hunt is preparation, patience, and perseverance. So they're always kind of still, the hunters, the knights, because they're just like any feline. They stay quiet and still until the time is right for them to jump. And the Queen of Pentacles is a very dorky looking face. Behind her are some graves, slightly messy hair. I honestly think that vampires look much better than this. These are like on a border with zombies, to be honest. Like they look like they've been starved. All the vampires that I've watched the movies about or read historical books about in high school, they were supposed to look just like people and even more beautiful because of all the blood that they were drinking from others. So I don't quite understand why most of them so hideous looking. Queen of Pentacles, some vampires refuse to hide behind mortal costumes and personas. They reveal in the cold truth of the night and the dust of the grave. Revel, sorry. So she doesn't give a shit about how ugly she is. She doesn't want to look like a human. So how does it apply to Queen of Pentacles? An earthy and practical soul. Seek comfort and peace. Stay out of your head and focus on what is real, tangible, and helpful to you. Find inspiration and closeness in nature. Oh, come on. Find inspiration and closeness in nature. She's in a graveyard looking like she's gonna die any moment. What closest is nature? What inspiration are we talking about? So basically use this deck if you want to be, shocking people with the imagery while you're still reading as, what's the weather going to be tomorrow. And then we have the King. Even the ageless are marked not by the passage of time, but by the hardships we endure in our struggles to gain what we seek. Okay, he looks like the Michelangelo thinking person a little bit. A pragmatic and productive soul. This is a sign of earned abundance. You will reap rich regards for the work of you have done. Lead by example and share your prosperity with others. Once again, would never have thought that it's a King of Pentacles. This is beautiful, however. Very dreamy, very fairy tale like. I like. And there is some blue and actually nice colors in there. This is the first and maybe only card in the deck that has like nice vibrant colors. Ace of Wands. Fools think, for me, because vampires came from Romania, so for me all the vampires I've ever seen or watched or read about is like those beautiful super white skinned red lipped people with a little bit of blood kind of dripping off their corner of their mouth in the snow. And that's my imagery. I don't understand why all of them are so used. Ace of Wands. Fools think we are creatures of death. Bah! Vampires are fuller of life than any other being on this planet, revealing your unending vitality. An intense beginning, an adventure will soon commence. Life seems full of possibilities and new energy. Clear your schedule of anything that does not spark joy in you. So, okay, but then how are they full of life? They're full of somebody else's life. There's a wolf. This is Two of Wands. Let's have a look what this is supposed to mean. A true conqueror needs only two things, a target and desire. So she's going out looking for dinner. But still in the graveyard, so I assume it is a graveyard. And then number 3 is supposed to be already standing outside of the castle and on the beach, on the cliff, on the edge, whatever. 3 of Wands, when in doubt, just ask yourself, why stop now? So she went out and started looking, and then now she's coming out of the castle and she's like, oh no, is this the right thing to do? Okay. 4. What is going on here? Vampire celebrations tend to leave a pronounced effect on our surroundings. So there was some sort of celebration and everything is destroyed, I assume. Festivities and celebration come together with others to mark your success. Don't wait for perfection. Allow protects and endeavors to come to a conclusion with gratitude for what you have experienced. Okay. I mean, for me, since this art doesn't specifically take its own direction with explanation, this deck, I mean, and the art doesn't specifically mimics Rider-Waite, it's like I could as well have white empty pieces of paper with just the name of the cards on them. So maybe you could read this deck as an oracle, just using imagery, but this is a full-on distraction for me. And then they're talking about rejoice and celebrate with the people around you. So I don't know. I mean, if you're someone who just reads as of numbers and suits and doesn't care for the imagery, then sure, go ahead and purchase this. But I wouldn't say that this is a true shadow deck for me. Because it's pretty much just talks about all the traditional meanings. Okay, 5 of Wands. And I can't say that it's triggering anything inside of me that I would want to get triggered, except for the reversed cross, but I don't think it's a trigger. Anyway, 5 of Wands. We vampires fear some foes. It's true, and yet there are some terrors of the night that even we will not face if we can avoid. Conflict, aggression. So what is it that he's... Oh, this is not a vampire, it's some other kind of creature, I assume, that they would like to avoid. Okay, well, conflict is about actually conflict, not avoiding the conflict. 6 of Wands is surprisingly pretty much very traditional Rider-Waite. Not sure what happened there. 7 of Wands looks more like 2 of Cups or the Lovers. Sorry guys if someone loves this deck and I'm bashing it. The deadly games and intrigues of the vampire's court require a spine of steel and fiery resolve. Prepare yourself for a contest of wills. You may need to take a stand to defend your position. Have faith and hold your ground. Be certain you know what you want and act. Okay, I don't see any fearlessness or passion in here. So that doesn't give me an energy of 7 Wands. 8 of Wands. Why walk when you can fly? Okay, the movement. 9 of Wands. The guardians of our places of power are renowned for their resilience and for the way their position tends to erode their humanity terribly. The guardians of our places of power are renowned for their resilience and for the way their position tends to erode the humanity terribly. She's the guardian. What is exactly she doing? Not quite sure. Standing on guard. Okay. 10 of Wands. To rule a city takes every ounce of a vampire's strength and tremendous will, but the power is worth the price. So he's the ruler. An attainment of your desire is near. Find the strength inside to cross the finish line, and you will have what you have worked so hard to achieve. Know your limits and pace yourself accordingly. Okay. I guess. This is another vampire hunter as a page. Hunter training begins at an early age. The vigor and zealotry of the young is unparalleled. Okay. And then we have another vampire hunter, vampire fighter. that is staring at her from above, ready to jump. Okay, some disaster going on down there. Achieving the legendary hypnotism of the vampire is a matter of desiring an outcome so completely that those in your presence cannot help but desire it themselves. This is this dude. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Oh no, sorry, that I read as the King. This is Knight of Wands. When your heart is truly invested in the pursuit, things like interactions prove to be no more than a minor annoyance. So then we have the Queen of Wands. The secret of entertaining others is to first be sure you're having a marvelous time yourself. And obviously she does, because she has a head of a guy that's bleeding all over her dress, and she's making sure that her cup is filled first. Okay, and the King of Wands, real gruff Dracula. Achieving the legendary hypnotism of the vampire is a matter of desiring an outcome so completely that those in your presence cannot help but desire it themselves. So I guess that's the face that's meant to hypnotize you. And then we have finally the sword suit. Let's have a look. Ace of Swords is very, obvious. Nothing clears a path like the steel in your hands and steel in your veins. Two of Swords. Turning a mortal lover into one of your kinds is choice not easily made. Eternity is a long time after all. So she has a mortal lover and she's deciding whether to turn her into your own kind. Okay. And then live with it with eternity. It's an impossible choice, right? Three of Swords. What's going on in there? It's those whom we most love that are capable of the most devastating betrayals. Okay? Four of Swords. It takes 3 days after death for the dark gift to manifest and bring a new vampire to life. 3 beautiful deaths of perfect bliss. So she's been bitten and dead, and now the time is ticking for her to rest before she turns into a monster. Five of Swords. What do we have here? She looks like she's scared of something lurking in the dark. I don't see anything. Is there backs of people, I guess? Let's read. Deceptions and disguise are useful, but sometimes one must rely on a cold brutality to get the job done. Conflict and struggle for dominance are inevitable. Victory will require aggressive tactics and a refusal to back down. If you are not ready for this fight, it would be best to retreat to a position of safety. So is she trying to decide whether she's ready or not? Six of Swords, he's walking on the water. Once you've drained the city dry enough to attract attention, it's best to depart for a distant shore before the hunters catch up to you, okay? So he's drained the city and is now running away from the boat, walking on the water. That's cool. A fresh start is needed and a critical transition will soon begin. Leave behind places and situations you have outgrown. Pay close attention to your mood and step away from anything dragging you down. Okay, then there is the reversed and shadow dance, which Seven of Swords is some kind of demon-like creature, I guess. Never let something so pretty as the laws of reality get between you and your desires. No, it's not a demon creature, it's the vampire lurking in the dark. It's the shadow of this dude. Okay. Or is the person somewhere else and this is the dude that is shadow hunting? Whatever it is, one's hunting another one. Eight of Swords would also never understand that this is an Eight of Swords because he's just somewhere out in the graveyard. Nothing helps you confound and corner your prey like calling up a nice mist. Okay, so he's keeping his prey trapped by creating a nice mist. Where is the prey? No one knows. Nine of Swords. The night poses no problem for us. It's the darkness with that can be all consuming. It's the darkest within can be all consuming. So he has some inner issues, obviously dealing with some emotions, didn't know that they have them, but stuck in this waters, inner darkness. And then we have this jumping girl. There is something so satisfying. There's something so satisfying about that last look of defeat in your prey's eyes when they realize that time has run out. So she's about to attack and she's enjoying the fear in the eyes of her prey. A difficult ending is likely in the present situation. It would be better to prepare a retreat than to continue to struggle against a situation that shows no sign of improvement. So basically, the prey should just die already instead of trying to fight. Sorry guys, I have the fan blasting on full and it makes the cards fly away. It's not some magic. The page is again another vampire hunter. No matter how many times traps or guards you set about your lair, a hunter always manages to slip through. So no matter how much they try to protect themselves, a hunter always comes in. How does the page read? A resourceful, observant soul. Pay attention to all the details and verify the truth for yourself rather than relying on others. The page makes an excellent detective, finding secrets along through the hidden. Okay, and then we have again the fighter, the vampire fighter that is probably looking at the prey or her particularly, and he's still again no movement, just like any other cards. When selecting minions, prioritize ruthless efficiency over manners at dinner. The queen, many have underestimated her. It was their final mistake. At least someone is in a clean dress, no blood dripping all over her. This is how I imagine vampires. Cold-blooded, always looking nice and well. And otherwise, why would you want to have eternity if you look like crap all the time? Most people fold for vampires for the idea of eternity is because they want it to be forever young and beautiful. So I don't understand all that horrible imagery when they look like God knows what. I don't believe that. Not in my world. A wise and discerning soul, the queen has learned from the pain of her past and avoids making the same mistake twice. Avoid sentimentary and rely upon your intellect to provide the guidance you need. Yeah, makes sense. And then we have the king with his teeth and a weird green. The ruler of centuries and on end requires you to take a rather longer view of events than most. A brilliant and commanding soul, the king rules his subject with a firm hand and has absolute faith in his vision because he has tested it carefully. Gather knowledge and lead with confidence. Do not budge on what is important to you. Okay, so the initial English, here we have shadow work with the Tarot V. They, I guess, explain what to do. There are a few ways for you to begin. Think about a recent experience that was especially triggering for you. Maybe you reacted, blah, blah, blah. The thing that triggered you is likely to pose to a fear. Consider first what seems to be very monstrous. Now you ask yourself, is there any way that I can allow myself to explore the taboos I have encountered in this card? Don't push yourself beyond. So basically, I don't know how the taboos might even come up, because the meanings of the cards are natural, regular, traditional. So the imagery, I guess, can freak some people out, but then when you realize that it's not related to what's written in the book at all, then you kind of stop freaking out. Okay, it's hard for me to shuffle this the way I do, because the cards are so thick, which is a good thing, but like shuffle is a bit tough this way. Some people do it differently, but I do it like this, and it's straining my fingers a little bit, but they do shuffle. And now let's see the overhand shuffle. Shuffle is just fine. And we're gonna ask a question just to test drive the deck, that I usually do. I ask a question about myself that I already know the answer to. What are my relationships right now with my partner? What are the relationships my partner and I have right now between us? What is going on between us, my partner and I? What are the relationships between us right now? Let's have a look. If it answers with images, or we're gonna have to apply the knowledge of our basic tarot interpretation. So my relationships, our relationships at the moment, my partner and I, where are we at? What is between us? Okay. The deck itself is perfect, by the way. It's cut very nicely. There are nothing is sticking out. You can see it's lovely. It's not separated in any ways. So my partner and I, the relationships between us. Bottom of the deck, the Empress. Strong emotions, a lot of emotions, a lot of misunderstandings, but I believe that this would be, so I believe the King of Wands here represents my partner, and he has more positive emotions than I do, and he feels that we can put everything that's been unpleasant in the past. Empress is the bottom of the deck. What else can be said about our relationships? Page of Swords. We just had an argument today, and I told him that, unless things improve, I want to leave. But he wants to stand by and continue working, because in his opinion, I am the woman of his life. Now, the argument was left that we just have to participate in each other's life more, regardless of how busy we are. Some mean things have been said, and could be also interpreted as I get aggressive and stroppy, and he walks away and shuts down and, you know, just sits on his throne and acts like this can all be left in the past. Or, yeah, but I mean, it reads one way or another. So when I'm reading, I don't specifically pay attention to any vampires. I'm just looking at the symbols and remembering the Six of Cups is Six of Cups is the past. You know, King of Wands is someone passionate, and then we have the Sun. He has positive ideas and positive outlook on what can be done, because he believes that we can work through things. He just needs a little bit more time for his work, and we have to meet each other somewhere in the middle, whereby I had a lot of emotion outburst. Actually, it was a strong, almost big tantrum, and so this would more imply of how I feel, and he feels that it's all fine, we can leave it behind. And that's actually the way we always end up with our arguments. So the deck reads fine. If you don't mind the vampire images and you just want to change it up, I guess you could use it for any sort of readings. If you don't have clients that are faint of heart and they don't freak out from this, then it should be fine. So I would read the cards as I read my traditional RW deck. I hope this was helpful, guys, and I believe I would use this deck, which would just require me to either completely ignore the images or look at them and try to read them as an oracle, but I doubt it I would. So this was Elora White. This was my personal opinion. I am not sponsored by any way. The deck shuffles beautifully, by the way, just before we finish. This is the book. And let me know in the comments what you think. Do you have this deck? How do you work with it? What do you think of the images versus the interpretations? And leave a like and subscribe, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that the video got a bit too long, but you can skip through. Okay, thank you for being here. Have a lovely day.